grants their citizens their right to bear arms, such as guns, as protection and self-defense. An open access to these dangerous weapons, however, are not only being used as means for protection, but are also used by criminals to do their heinous acts, such as public shooting, homicide, suicide, armed robberies, and a lot more. As students and employees, we attend many celebrations in public that we would like to feel safe in. I myself would like to be assured that not just everyone with the age of 18 and above could be carrying a gun around. Wouldn't you like that safety too? As a foreigner to this country, the idea of a person with the age of 18 and above is responsible enough to carry a gun in the eyes of the law, but is not responsible enough to have a drink of alcohol. It sounds a bit crazy to me. And that is why my thesis is that since firearms play a huge role in many home and public tragedies, while on the other hand, people still feel the need to protect themselves, a compromising law must be created so that there is a balance in the restrictions of gun law that could both protect the people and at the same time reduce the number of firearm crimes. So first, let me tell you about the problem. In a research by Kwan and Back on their 2005 article, it states that in the year 2000, almost 30,000 people died from firearm injuries. That is more than the number of people that died from HIV, alcohol abuse, or drug abuse. They also declared that these crimes happened despite the 20,000 laws that were created to ban guns from being accessed easily. So it seems like the banning of gun possessions is inefficient, but we need to know the problems that are causing these thousands of laws to be ineffective. Let's take Canada, for example. In the 1977 legislation that banned gun access to the public, it only increased the number of armed robberies due to unprotected shops and businesses. According to Mauser and Mackey on their 2003 article, this is because of the lack of protection of shops and businesses. While criminals, being criminals, they don't follow the law and they still had access to guns. So they were easily able to arm rob many places because there's no securities that were allowed to carry a gun to protect themselves. And that is the problem, because the balance of restriction is not on the right place. Now let's talk about something that was actually successful when guns were banned. Australia, for example, in the 1996 gun law reform was a success. Once they removed firearms in one community, it actually reduced the number of firearm deaths in that community. And they took this action because of the 35 lives that were lost due to a firearm massacre in 1996. And in the USA, a lot of us know about the many shootings and many deaths that were caused by having an easy access to guns. Another problem that exists is that gun laws in the United States, such as the District of Columbia versus Heller case, is very unclear to everyone. The contents of the law reform that was made was not clear, even to the judges that voted 5-4 decisions on that case. These are the coded problems that they were facing. There may or may not be a Second Amendment right in some places beyond the home, but we have no idea what those places are, what the criteria for selecting them should be, what sliding scales of scrutiny might apply to them, or any one of other questions. It is not clear in what places public authorities may ban firearms altogether without shouldering the burdens of litigation. The fact that the judges had to argue whether or not the Second Amendment protects the right to possess a gun beyond homes or to register in public places it was allowed to, it reveals that this case has been inefficient and must be changed to a clearer form of law that could be understood by everyone. Since people want to be protected from armed robberies and other gun-related violence, a reformed law must be created that balances the restriction of gun to reduce gun-related crimes. First, I discussed with you the current problems on gun law. Second, I told you why the Heller case causes confusion to the current gun laws. And finally, let me tell you about the solution that the government could take action to. The government of the United States should enforce a gun law reform that restricts the citizens from carrying guns at home and in public, except for policemen and securities on workplaces such as shops and other business buildings. The strict enforcement of this law over a period of time will help reduce crimes such as homicide, suicide, armed robbery, and other gun-related crimes due to lack of gun access, while policemen and securities continues to protect public places. We all know that guns are lethal, and in many situations where fights and arguments are heated, having guns around is detrimental. It is a trigger away from instantly killing somebody. It should not be accessed easily, and it should not be taken lightly. Life is too precious to lose by the wrong hands.